looking, firing, intercepted, picked up by Cooper DeJean, gets a block, snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles going for it all into the end zone, and it is caught. Hurts going deep for it all. Devontae Smith, he has got it.
What it do, what it do, what it do, what it do. Welcome back to another exciting episode of AJ's Birds, where your boy AJ brings you the hottest news when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. And there is so much to get into today, y'all. Y'all see the banner. Y'all see what's going on. It's time to talk draft. Yes, it is. It's time to talk about the NFL draft, man. It's time to get into that. We got a lot of things to discuss, a lot of positions of need. But before we get into all of that, there was some news since the last time I recorded. The last episode I did, right, was kind of like a rage episode because I was hot. You know what I mean? They was coming from my quarterback. Spent all this time coming from my dog, Jay Hurts. And I just felt the need to put together a pod, put together some numbers, put together some facts in defense of my dog because they was killing my bro, right? But this episode right here, like I said, is dedicated to the draft. And in light of the draft coming up, in light of some of the moves I have the Philadelphia Eagles making in the draft, we unfortunately got to address this. I'm hoping for the second to last time before it actually happens for real. A.J. Brown potentially going to the New England Patriots. It's the news. It's the hot button right now. It's been the talk for the longest. A.J. Brown, is he going to dip? Is he here? Is he gone? As we see, Adam Schefter reported it a while ago, essentially saying it's all but a done deal. It's bound to happen. You know what I mean? A deal isn't exactly in place, but it's really kind of in place. And this is kind of what I alluded to before, right? I kind of spoke about this. I kind of talked about this a while ago on the previous episode of AJ's Birds, where I said, you know, is there a deal in place post June 1st to trade AJ to the New England Patriots? It only made sense. You have been in contact with this team for a while now, right? You knew that Howie Roseman wasn't going to take a crazy cap hit in order to make this happen for another football team. We also knew Howie Roseman didn't necessarily want to trade AJ Brown, right? And so he's going to wait it out as long as he can potentially wait it out to maybe convince AJ to stay, maybe mend that relationship, maybe get the best possible deal. But it looks like New England is probably going to be the best possible deal. It looks like AJ wants to go to New England. It looks like the Eagles want to do right by AJ Brown by sending him to a place that he wants to be, understandably so. I feel like in a way we kind of owe it to him. In a way, listen, at the end of the day, he came to the team. He helped us secure a Super Bowl. I don't like the way he's leaving, in all honesty. I don't like his antics and the things that he's done. I don't like the way he acts sometimes. I don't like the fact that he doesn't come to the defense of his quarterback, the quarterback that helped you become an All-Pro, that helped you secure the bag twice in Philadelphia, right? The quarterback that helped you, secure your first ever Super Bowl championship, multiple Super Bowl appearances, multiple championship game appearances. I don't like that. But at the end of the day, he has been a highly productive Philadelphia Eagle. And at the end of the day, like I've said before, I do feel as though he is the greatest, not the best, but the greatest Philadelphia Eagle receiver of all time when it comes to accolades and impact for the Philadelphia Eagles. And so, listen, if that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. I have moved past it. Also want to address this because this has been all over social media as well. CJ that's my guy and all. Always felt like we should not have traded CJ I've been saying that. I've been feeling like that. CJ should be a guy that should still be a Philadelphia Eagle. I feel like he could be the heart and soul of the defense, like he was, in my opinion, the last two times we went to the Super Bowl. He came to the defense of Jalen Hurts when everybody was slandering Jalen Hurts. I retweeted it. I respected it. It's only right. Now he comes to the defense of A.J. Brown. Like, why is everybody turning on A.J.? It's so bad now. You know, y'all love us when we can help y'all win, but blah, blah, blah. And again, a quick response to that. Nobody, in my opinion, switching up on A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, in my personal opinion, right, switched up on the Philadelphia Eagles. That's my personal opinion. He switched up on us. That's how I feel about it. Ultimately, right? We saw how he played last season, right? We saw the drop passes. We saw the lack of effort, right? We noticed that he didn't want to play for the Philadelphia Eagles long before he was, quote unquote, requesting for a trade. We saw what happened in 2023. The best year we had with AJ was in 2022. That's the year we didn't have no drama, no issues. That was his best statistical season with us. Ever since then, it's been a little bit of turmoil, whether it be week 1, week 2, week 3, whatever the case, whatever the week is. And so at this point, it gets to a point where Eagles fans are tired, myself included. You get tired of it, right? You get tired of dealing with the constant, is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Is he going to go? Does he want to be here? Jalen Hurts isn't trusted, and, you know, their relationship isn't the same, and, you know, we can't trust him to get the ball. It's just all this extra stuff. Does he trust Nick Sirianni? It's like all of this stuff is just extra. Nobody wants to deal with this stuff. Like, nobody wants to deal with this. And so it gets to a point where, listen, if winning the Super Bowl is not enough for you, if being a 3-time All-Pro not enough, if going to the playoffs 3-4 straight years, going to the Super Bowl twice, winning one, if all of those accolades and all of the things that you accomplished is not enough and you want more individual success, by all means, go where you want to go. We ain't going to hold you hostage. We just not going to hold you hostage. That's not what we're going to do. You know what I mean? So that's all I got to say about that. And like I said before, man, Smitty is ready to step into that number 1 receiver role in Philadelphia. I've been saying it for a while now. Smitty's ready. Smitty been ready. Smitty, his development, the things that he's learned, you know, on and off the field, the things he's learned from AJ, the things he's learned from other receivers, the things he's learned from elite DBs. Like, Smitty is ready for this role. Smitty is ready to take that step. I may even go as far as to say Devontae Smith might be ready to be, you know, receiver 1. Oh, my boy Kev. My boy Kev in the build. I'm gonna get him on the screen in a minute. But I may go as far as to say that my boy Smitty may have a better statistical season than AJ Brown. Like, I just given what we saw last season, the trajectory that he was on before everything started popping off with AJ. Let's not forget that man did have like 181 yards against the Minnesota Vikings. I was there in person, in the touchdown. I was there in person. He was on pace for a career year before all of this stuff kicked off with, you know, with AJ Brown. So a lot of this stuff, Eagles fans tired, CJ. That's what this comes down to. We get tired. We have more love and respect. And I don't want to say the word respect like that, because obviously we respect AJ, but there's more love and reverence, I would say, for guys like BG, guys like Lane Johnson, guys like Kelsey, guys like Jay Hurts, guys that came to the team, Brian Dawkins, that were drafted to the team, stuck with the team through the highs and lows, and just rolled it out and bled green, opposed to a guy that, okay, you're here for 4 or 5 years, you have your time, then it's like, all right, man, I'm sick of this, I'm out. And then the way you leave, like, let's think about the way he leaving. Let's think about the playoff game. Let's think about how the season went with him. How many bad games we pointed to. How many moments just like, AJ, what we doing out here? And this is the note that you leave us on. We not too happy about that, right? But before I get to this, before I get to the draft and all of that, because, again, this is a draft show. This ain't the AJ Brown show. It's the draft show. I do want to pop my boy Kev on if he's ready, because I do want to get his thoughts on this AJ Brown stuff real quick, the Adam Schefter report and the CJ stuff. So I want to pop him on the screen real quick and see how my boy feeling.
Yo, what's good?
How you doing? How you feeling, my man? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm about to pull up on the ups in about a couple minutes.
Okay. I feel you, bro. I feel you. You want your take on this AJ Brown stuff real quick, the Adam Schefter report, and then I don't know if you've seen the CJ stuff saying that we switched up on AJ, but what's your quick thoughts on that?
I saw that. My thing about that is CJ just butthurt because of how the fans, he got his car stolen. He had those situations. But CJ also, the energy that he brought, he used to do too much, like with the rapping stuff. He had a whole lot of other things that's outside of football that us as fans didn't really care for. So from his standpoint, I get it why he feel like that. But if you think about it, like you said, AJ leaving out how he did at the end, and then it's not even the fact that you want to leave a team. We one of the most successful teams in the league, and you crying about stuff that everybody could be crying about. Like you can really start a bunch of ruckus with the team by him even going about how he going about his situation. Okay, you had a down year. Your down year is better than most of these guys. Some careers, like he still didn't go under 1,000 yards. That's if he did that, then that's different. The man still hit his 1,000. He was even able to hit his 1,000 after missing games. Like he did last year, he hit 1,000. He missed games and still got his 1,000. So a lot of the stuff be a lot of nitpicky. Like you said, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Like how personal is it, or how serious is the disconnection, or how whatever. Whatever it is, it ain't stopping us from winning. So,
Facts.
hey, what more can you ask for as a player in a professional sport? Like who wants to have all these stats and lose? But I guess there's some guys out there who care for that. Some people that's in it for the money, which is okay. But it's not like you're not getting paid.
Right.
So that's a whole nother thing. You're getting paid and you winning. I feel like you want to be dominant. That's some type of mental situation. That's his own mental battles. I guess he's battling with. Maybe he would rather play football for free. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. But like I said before, man, if winning the Super Bowl, going to the playoffs every single year, being an All-Pro, it's not like you're not putting up numbers. It's not like you're not getting accolades. You've been an All-Pro 3 to 4 years you've been in Philadelphia. You got 1,000 yards every year you've been in Philly. You got, I think, a 1,400-yard season and close to a 1,500-yard season, like 2 seasons. Like it's not
back to back, bro. He's not doing that nowhere else.
And the thing that people forget, the thing that people don't bring up, bro, is like his numbers ain't dipped because of Jalen Hurts. His numbers dipped because we added Saquon to the offense.
Exactly. The identity of the offense changed.
It's changed because we added Saquon Barkley to the offense, rightfully so. You know what I mean? So that's why your numbers kind of dipped the way they dipped. It's because Saquon added to the fold. And that's kind of expected.
Then you got a Smitty on your side. People pray for a Smitty.
Yep.
So Smitty gonna have to get his touches. He getting paid too.
Yep.
And Smitty just be chilling and still get his numbers. Who just say that Smitty don't want his 1,400? Like he can't get that.
Yeah.
But Smitty got to take the backseat and still get his numbers. So
that's what I'm saying.
It's a bunch of pettiness going on, crybaby stuff. I don't know who in his circle that's in his ear pushing for all of this, or not even, giving him better advice to steer in another direction. Because to think that your career is going to take off, leaving the situation you're in, is insane to me. I'm sorry.
You might go over there and get some numbers. I got no doubt if he's healthy, they gonna find him in the offense and make sure he get numbers. But the winning ain't gonna be the same. I saw a stat that said we the second most successful team in the league over the last decade, right behind the Chiefs. The only team that's in front of us is the Bills as far as their wins, but they don't have any Super Bowls. So technically, we number 2 to the Chiefs as far as the most successful team over the last decade, bro. So it's like that's what you leaving. Besides your relationship with Jalen Hurts, that's what you're leaving, bro. You know what I mean? You're leaving an organization that's gonna continuously put you in contention. Not only that, before I move on to the draft, not only that, you going to a conference, bro. You going back to a conference where you got to deal with Lamar, you got to deal with Pat, you got to deal with Allen in your own division, right? You got to deal with the up and coming Jacksonville Jaguars. Like you got to deal with all of these teams on the come up, or either that have already arrived in the AFC. That's gonna be in your way of getting to the Super Bowl, and you joining the team by which your quarterback has already gone to the Super Bowl and lost. And before Jalen Hurts, what that stat was for quarterbacks that go to the Super Bowl and lose, they don't tend to go back. So like this is what I'm gonna say. I literally think AJ, bro, is looking at this situation like, look, I got my ring. I got some All-Pros under my belt. Now I'm just gonna go get these numbers. I think now I'm finna truly make my Hall of Fame case by getting these numbers. I can always fall back on the fact that I got a ring, right? I got that in my back pocket. But now it's just about stacking these. If I can get an Offensive Player of the Year award, if I can get another 1,600 yard season, if I can get a 11 to 15 touchdown, like I feel like that's all he's looking for at this point in his career. And if that's it, I respect it. But the Eagles, we trying to win, bro. We ain't trying to stack your numbers. We trying to get everybody involved, and we trying to win. So that just is what it is, man. You gotta take it for what it's worth.
Yeah, that's facts. But I don't like how much more do you think your number's gonna improve? Let's be honest. Like
This is facts.
like what you think you better go and average 1,400 a year? You're not.
Mm-hmm.
A big he's missing the fact that another reason why you getting the numbers you get to is because teams can't just pinpoint you. So you telling me you're gonna be more dominant than you were with less around you?
It's not likely.
Defenses are gonna delete you, and then what? Then you're gonna look stupid. The fact that he did it in quiet, you can't personally attack him per se, but the noise is out. As silent as you've been, it's pretty loud out here. So, I mean, it's going to come back to you regardless. Now, nobody has no clips of it or no tweets of you saying it per se, but we know what it is. You ain't moving yourself.
100%. Are you free to do some of this draft talk, or you heading out? I know you got the kids you gotta pick up. What's this looking like?
I got a couple minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm finna jump into this. Like I said, I ain't trying to take too much time talking about AJ Brown, man. So what I did is I put together a mock draft. I did the first 5 rounds for us, and I really put hyper focus on. We got what is this, like 4 picks in the top 100 this year.
Yeah.
And you know how
one. We had 5. We traded 1.
Right. We traded 1 away. So you know how he is, man. It's all about how can we maximize. First off, how can we maximize every pick, right? You know what I'm saying? How can we fill these holes or just improve in certain areas, stack up in certain areas, you know what I'm saying, in this draft, right? How can we get back to that Super Bowl? Because that's the ultimate goal, man. So without further ado, man, my first pick. Now I want to say this before I get started. If y'all watched the episode of CTC, Carl Talking College, right? I came on and I said we're gonna take a receiver in the first round. This is before the Adam Schefter news, by the way. This is before the Adam Schefter news. I said we finna take a receiver in the first round. AJ Brown is out of here. This is what I said, right? At the time, I was hell-bent on that. That was the move we was gonna make, right? But at the time, I had only done a mock draft for the first round of the entire NFL because we was talking about every team, not just the Eagles. We was talking about every team, and that's how I felt. Now, when I focused on doing the mock draft for just the Eagles, okay, we had to switch it up a little bit, given the given the positions and things of that nature. I had to switch it up a little bit. You know what I mean? So I ain't told you this yet, Kev. Bought the first pick, right? Round 1, number 23. I got the Philadelphia Eagles picking up offensive lineman Blake Miller from Clemson. So that's the direction I got us going in. I'll put these highlights on the screen right here, man. Yeah. I think you gotta address offensive line, bro.
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah, given how the offensive line looked last year, bro, it's hard not to address offensive line. You need Saquon to get it going again, right? You need Jalen Hurts to have time in the pocket to throw the football. You need a guy that's got some experience, right? And he's got a ton of it on the college level. I mean, he played over 3,000, nearly 4,000 consecutive snaps for Clemson. 3-time All-ACC honors. He got an 81.6 PFF grade. He got great durability. He's physical. He's athletic. He's versatile. He's great in pass protection. So I just feel like as much as I want the Eagles to make the sexy pick at number 1 or in the first round, right? I want the Eagles to address receiver immediately. So if they do, I ain't going to be mad at it. If they go with my boy Omar, I'm going to be geeked, or any other receiver. I'm going to be geeked in the first round. But knowing how he operate, we know that Howie Roseman is more than likely going to go with the trenches in the first round. Blake Miller's there. I think he ends up taking Blake Miller. Kev, what you think about that?
I like Blake Miller as a player, and he does fit the offense that we're trying to run. It's just that I don't think I think even though we're changing our offense and he fits the profile of the direction we're going, I still think when they come to O-line, they're still looking for a certain prototype. I
Mm.
think they still want those Lane Johnson, those Landon Dickerson, those Jordan Mailata type of offensive linemen. Blake Miller, I believe, is like more technical. The he's not the most physically imposing offensive lineman in the league, if you ask me. But he definitely fits the profile athletic wise. So
You gotta keep in mind though, we don't have what's bro name? The offensive line coach we just had. I'm blanking on his
yeah,
name.
I know we don't. I know we don't.
So
But
you might need a more technically savvy, because what we used to do, we used to just pick up guys with that raw talent at the position.
yeah,
You got
that
raw
is true
talent,
though.
and then we gonna get you in here with our offensive line coach, and he
Mhm.
gonna refine your skill set and make you an elite guy at the position. Like
Exactly.
that's where Mailata came from. Mailata ain't really had no football snaps. We drafted bro off of his rugby tape.
Facts.
Like bro, a big dude, he athletic, he can move. Once we get you in the building, we know we can teach you how to block and how to make plays and how to do things of that nature to help our offense. But we just want to draft a guy that has at least one crazy trait or one crazy physical something, whether it be size, whether it be speed or whatever, and we can refine it and make it XYZ. I think now they might be trying to go with somebody that's more refined, more technical, got more experience, because they don't have that ace up their sleeve no more. You know what I mean? I could be wrong, but that's just where my head is at with it.
I heard a couple of insiders speak on the fact that they still looking at the same type of offensive lineman. But I did also hear like how like Jeff Stoutland, how he used to teach. It's a very rare technique that when you go to other places you can't use it basically. Like everywhere else in the league, the offensive linemen don't teach that way. That's why you'll see some offensive linemen leave us and they don't look as good. Because
That's
he
real.
teaches them like it's a sneaky technique to where it's not I don't want to call it a cheat code, but it's kind of like I won't get too technical because I want to confuse people, but it's basically like an unorthodox method to how he teaches his offensive linemen to reach the levels that they reach. But
Yeah.
I do like Blake Miller as a player, but I know for a fact that they do like Ole, but I'm not sure if he's going to be there. And I think they even willing to trade up for him, to be honest with you. So,
Yeah. I
Ole
feel that. I
Vega,
feel that.
the
Yeah.
guard, because you need to feel. The thing with our O-line is that's why I think we're going to go O-line, because you got Lane Johnson, who may retire. You got Landon Dickerson, who's been beat up. You got our center, who had to go through the stem cell stuff, so who knows how much longer he's going to play. And then we have Mailata is there, but I mean, eventually we're gonna have to replace him. Eventually, you know how we like to do things beforehand. He don't like to wait to the last minute.
I feel
So
that.
I
That
feel
man.
like that's technically 3 spots, and then Tyler Stain is not golden either. So that's if you think about the whole entire O line could be different in the next 5 years.
That's true. That's very true.
So
That's very true. Carl in the comments trying to make sure we don't get any player that he want the Ravens to get.
but you know how he work, bro. How you
He's
can get
like,
whoever the
man.
heck he want.
Yeah, that's how I know you said, I want to ask you this before I move on to the second pick.
Yeah.
I know you said you believe that Howie's going to trade out of that pick. And before you do that, let me get to this comment to tone it down. I don't know if this is my guy tone or this a different tone, but of course they got to throw shots at QB1. They always got to throw shots at the top. I get it. I respect it.
Yeah.
If the Eagles do draft a quarterback, I'll be
He
hot.
won't be in the first round.
Hell no. If they take a quarterback, my bet will be third, fourth round, fifth round.
Yeah.
But
We
the way
draft a
I
quarterback
see it,
every year.
right, we do, and people gonna gas it this year because of all the talk around Jalen Hurts. But the thing about it is, like you said, Howie Roseman likes to have like the quarterback factory thing, right? Number one, but number two, bro, we got a lot of different holes we got to address this year. Like, bro, we need offensive line help. We trade AJ, we're gonna need another receiver. We need edge. We need a safety. It's a lot of different positions to be trying to address right now to then use a early draft pick on a quarterback. It's just not smart. It ain't smart, and we know Howie a very intelligent dude. So, but we'll see. Like I said, I want to ask you: you believe that he's gonna trade out of the first round? Do you still
It
believe
depends
that's
on
the
how the
case?
ball fall. I think we're
Okay.
gonna move. I think we either gonna move up or move back. If I would bet on it, I put almost everything on us not picking at 23. I tell you that for sure.
Do you think he's going to trade out of the first round into the second, or you think he's just going to trade further back into the first round? Appreciate you, Joe.
I think it depends on the player, to be honest, the position. You know, that fifth option always plays a part, but it all depends. I think 9 times out of 10, he might trade out of the first round, depending on who's left on the board. Because this what's funny about this draft is, yeah, it's deep, but the top is where it's at. But the amount of players that's really at the top is very far between. So once certain people get off the board, you can go in the second round and play with house money. You know what I'm saying? That second, third round, I think is where the goal is at in this draft as far as getting the value. It's more of a value thing than anything.
I feel that.
It's not many for sure guys in this draft. So
True. I got Tom commenting and say, hey, they drafted Love in the first round, but they still had GOAT Rod. Listen, bro, Aaron Rodgers was, I think, 37, 38, somewhere like. Aaron Rodgers is on his way out the door, man. So I think that's why they made that move. And I didn't like that move at the time. So, but, nevertheless, that's where they went. But moving on to round 2, man. I want to get to my round 2 pick. This is going to upset somebody in the comment section. I already know this is going to make somebody mad. But I want to get to it. And I want to put it out here. Because I've been looking at some film, man. I've been looking at some tape. And Kev, let me know when you're ready. Let me get this situated down here. Let me know when you're ready to jump back on the screen. I've been looking at some tape, man. I've been looking at some film. And yeah, okay, I got you, Kev. I've been looking at some film, right? And the Eagles have to replace A.J. Brown at some point in this draft. And when I say replace, I don't mean you have to go and get A.J. Brown, but you got to go and replace that void at receiver 2, because we know Devontae Smith is going to slide right into that receiver 1 spot. You don't want to trade for another high-level receiver, because at that point, what's the point? You might have to pay him A.J. Brown money, and you getting rid of A.J. Brown, so what's the point? You got to go get a stud at receiver in this draft. You can wait outside of the first round. I did a bunch of mocks. You can wait outside of the first round, right? But you can't wait past the second round. The only reason why, like I said, to start the show, I didn't go receiver in the first round is because the Eagles have so many needs that if I went receiver in the first round, you lost certain edge rushers. You lost certain, like you wouldn't be able to get Blake Miller. Offensive, like it's just too many positions of need for you to prioritize receiver right away when the receiver position is as deep as it is in this draft, and other positions may not be as deep. So you want to go get that offensive lineman first, but now you got to go get receiver. And without further ado, I got to put the second pick on the screen. Round 2, pick 54, Jacoby Lane. This brother right here. Straight up dog. The man's a straight up dog. I feel like he got all of the tools in the toolbox. He just led USC in touchdowns with 12 in 2024, which was 5th in the nation and 2nd in the Big Ten. Then this past year, he had over 700 yards in 2025. The man's got a crazy catch radius. He's 6'4", right? Can catch the ball in traffic. Got crazy one-hand snags, right? Like I said, the production is there. The run after the catch is there. I think the man is a total package at receiver, and I think he perfectly complements what we need at receiver too. Let me put these highlights up on the screen, man. Bro is a dog. Look at these. Look at how he go up and he just snatched the ball out the air, man. Like, look at these. Look at the stuff that he put on film. Look at this catch right here in traffic. Falling to the ground. Nice swag in the end zone. Like, this is a special talent. One hand. Snatch out the sky. Yeah, I just did that. Here go another one hand. Holding. PI. Touchdown either way. Like I said before, he has the full skill set at receiver that you want. The full skill set, right? There's other guys you could take with this spot right here. Like I said, I looked into a lot of different guys. I looked into a lot of different prospects before I made this decision. But at the end of the day, I think he's the best guy suited for the job. I really do. I don't think there's many other guys that's more suited to fit this offense than Jacoby Lane. Now, again, Howie Roseman can reach on a receiver in the first round if he so chooses. And I gotta check these comments because I know my boy Carl in the comments like, yo, let me get this off the screen so I get to these comments. I know my boy Carl in the comments is mad. You knew, hey, we had this talk off the record. I say, hey, man, I might have to make that move. You know what I mean? My boy CTC Carl talking college, he's a big Ravens fan, so that's what he wants the Ravens to get. He wants the Ravens to get Jacoby Lane. I respect it. We'll see. I think there is enough receivers in this draft to go around, though. I do think there's enough receivers in this draft to go around, so I will say that this has just now become, I ain't gonna lie, as of today, a preference for me. Like, yo, bro, different. Bro, his take is different. And I like him paired alongside with Devontae Smith. He could do some of everything. And I may be blowing up the spot. You know what I mean? I may be blowing up the spot. But at the end of the day, man, I just think it's the right pick for the Philadelphia Eagles, man. I can't pick nobody. This is the pick. The pick is in. You lucky I had the ding 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 ding. The pick is in. Like I said, man, Jacoby Lane. So you pair him, like I said, with Devontae. You know, you pair him with Hollywood Brown. You still got Dallas Goedert at the tight end position doing his thing. You can't forget about 2-6, right, coming out of the backfield. You went and drafted Blake Miller in the first round, so you improved your offensive line. And like I said, no disrespect to A.J. Brown, but I see this offense taking a step next season. And when I say no disrespect to A.J. Brown, I mean it because at the end of the day, last year, I want people to understand this about the Philadelphia Eagles offense last year. The Philadelphia Eagles offense last year was bad for a multitude of different reasons. And I think the biggest issue with the Philadelphia Eagles offense last year was the offensive line. We could not run the ball. It is a miracle. It is a miracle that Saquon Barkley got 1,000 yards last year. Most of the time he had a defender in his face when he hiked the ball. I think a lot of that goes back to the year we ran for 2,000 and went on to win the Super Bowl. We had questions about Saquon's durability. You know, how is Saquon going to be heading into this next season? Is he going to be fresh? Is he going to be feeling good? Is he going to be able to duplicate that or get close to that? What we didn't question is something that we probably should have questioned, which is the durability of the offensive line, because we saw down the stretch of the postseason, right? Lane Johnson, Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, those guys were banged up going down the stretch of the playoffs. In the NFC Championship game, obviously you guys remember, we had to switch out Landon and Cam at the center. I believe Landon started at center, and then we had to swap him out and then put Cam in because Cam had a bag back, right? Both of them were hurt dramatically in that game, and it is a miracle that they were both able to play, right, in the Super Bowl. Now, going into this offseason, you would think that they improve their health and they get better, but sometimes that's not how it works. Sometimes things linger, and I think those injuries kind of lingered into the following season. Those are two premier positions. Plus, you lost Lane Johnson, right, towards the back half of the season. And so, yeah, the offense was bad, I think, in large part because you didn't have that, right, on top of the play calling being where it was. And then you had Jalen, who didn't play his best ball at times, especially in those high leverage moments that we're accustomed to seeing him playing his best ball. So it was a lot of different things. And then AJ had drops and Smitty had drops. There's a lot of different things not going the Eagles' way. But at the end of the day, I think this offensive line gets better this offseason. I think they have now had a full offseason to rest and recover. I think we get the run game going. I think we prioritize, like I said, the offensive line in this draft. So we take care of that. AJ is out of the building. You go and get a guy like Jacoby Lane to play that receiver 2 position. We led the league last year in 3-and-outs. So while some people say Jalen Hurts is going to get worse or the offense is going to get worse without A.J. Brown, how much worse can it get? It's not going to get worse than leading the league in 3-and-outs. And we cannot forget that Sean Mannion is now in the building. He is a first-year play caller, but for all intents and purposes, for everything I've heard and seen from that side, from Jalen, from the players, from the other coaches in Green Bay, bro sound like he gonna be one of them ones as a play caller. And he's a former quarterback, which helps. We're gonna see a brand new offense this year, an offense that teams have not game planned for when it comes to us and our talent for the Philadelphia Eagles. And so I think this is going to be a healthy reset for the Philadelphia Eagles as a team, as an offense, all the way around. And so, like I said, I think this is the perfect round 2 pick. Let AJ walk after June 1st, get some assets back for him, and we move on. We march on. Round 3 now. Now we get to our 3rd round pick, right? And we got an Eagle fan in the building. Hey, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. If you haven't already, AJ's Birds is coming with that fresh Eagles content 24/7. You already know what it is, man. Shout out to us, man. The greatest team in the world, in my opinion. The second most successful team in the last decade besides the Kansas City Chiefs when it comes to wins and Super Bowls. I should have put that I should have had that graphic. I'll make sure I put that graphic up for us Eagles fans for the next episode. Just in case somebody want to talk, you could just remind them that we've been that squad outside of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, right? And the Chiefs for the last 10 years. Just want to point that out. But without further ado, man, let's get to our 3rd round. Let's get to the 3rd round. So with the 3rd round, I was shocked when I did this mock, and I did this mock a few times, right? I did this mock draft a few times, right? And I was shocked that this player was available in the 3rd round with pick number 68. Without further ado, we have to also address the defensive line, right? We lost Phillips this offseason. BG may come back. He may not. I believe he's going to come back, but we can't heavily rely on him. We do have Jalen Hunt. We do have other guys that are young, Nolan Smith, that we expect to take a step. Obviously, you have Jalen Carter, who we still haven't extended yet. I find that a little odd. I would love to see an extension soon. Obviously, we extended Jordan Davis, but we got to improve as far as getting pressure on the quarterback. I'm not really concerned about our run defense, but we got to improve as far as getting pressure on the quarterback, which is why this is a top priority for our defense. So without further ado, round 3, if this guy is available, you got to take him. Cassius Howe, edge rusher out of Texas A&M. This brother right here, yo. This, if we could get this pick, this might be my favorite pick. And that's saying something because I like Jacoby Lane a lot. But this boy right here, bro, special. Bro is special. SEC Player of the Year in 2025. 11.5 sacks and 14 tackles for loss. 41 pressures generated this past season. A 90.3 pass rush grade from PFF. I know some people don't rock with PFF. I get it. Some people don't rock with PFF. But, bro, I think is a game changer at the position. And like I said, if you can get him in the 3rd round, I think that is an absolute steal. Let's throw the tape up. Wait, hold on. Make sure get this other banner off the screen because y'all got to see this tape. Get this right here. Bro is a game changer. He is a game changer at the position. And the beautiful thing about it is you don't need him to come in and start. You need him to come in and be a rotational piece. A guy that could just come in and just rush the passer when need be. That's what you need from him, right? I mean, look at the plays. Look at the plays he's able to make. Busting through the line of scrimmage like it's nothing, attacking the running back, right? Stuffing the run. Like, dog is like that. And I think that's a pivotal piece right there at a premier position for our defensive line that we need to take advantage of. He's got great pass rush technique. He's got elite speed and burst, as we can see right here on the film. He's got great bend at the line of scrimmage. He got high motor. You see the energy. You see the attitude and the tenacity that he plays with. He got a little bit of coverage skills as well, surprisingly, because of his athleticism. He could do some of everything on the football field. And so I think that is a pick. If the Philadelphia Eagles see him on the draft board in round 3 at 68, I think this is a pick that you make. Now, I do want to say full disclosure, we know Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman is going to will and deal. He's going to make trades. He's going to move things around, things of that nature. My mock draft don't have no trades. I just went off of, all right, this is where we fall. This is who's available. This is who's available. Either we going off of the best player or going off of a need. And this is the first draft in a very long time with the Philadelphia Eagles that I went into it and said, all right, I think this year we kind of got to address some needs. I think there's been years in the past where the Philadelphia Eagles didn't really need certain positions, but they got it because it was the best player available, right? But I think this might be the first year, maybe since 2021, where the Eagles went out and where I believe the Eagles should go out and just look at needs opposed to what we may want or best player available. Devontae Smith was probably the best player available when we drafted him in 2021, but it was also a need. We desperately needed a superstar receiver in Philadelphia. So like I said, I think this year you're going to go off of some needs because and I'll get to this, I'll get to another position a little later because we got to have a conversation about it, but you need offensive line, you need receiver, you need edge for sure. And one could argue you may need linebacker too now. One could argue. You hope that Jeremiah Trotter Jr. like steps into that role now, right? You hope that Campbell steps into that. We just drafted him last year in the first round. So you're hoping these young guys can step into that role. But losing to Kobe Dean, low-key a big deal. Low-key a big deal. We're not going to act like the Kobe Dean wasn't that for us in his defense when it comes to attacking the run, getting guys down, attacking the quarterback, blitzing through the A and B gaps. Like, we ain't going to act like he wasn't that, on top of him being a leader at that linebacker position, on top of him being extremely smart and just able to consistently make plays at the position. And so I think that is definitely a move that we should make at number 3. And like I said, in the 3rd round. And like I said, you got enough positions of need to where you don't need to be reaching too much on best available. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, but you got to prioritize some stuff right here, in this draft. Now, with my next pick, this one might shock some people because I know I just got done saying that you might not want to go best player available. You might want to go with need. And right now I'm about to address a position that we don't really need, but it will be nice to have because we do need a little bit more depth. You do need a little bit more depth, right? I know the additions that we made in the offseason, but it will be nice to get you one more piece because the player that we just brought in, right? The player that we just brought in is only on a 1-year deal, and I'm referring to Riq Woolen. Right? Riq Woolen, I believe, is going to come in and be the 3rd best DB in the building behind Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. He's going to come in. He's going to be that corner too. But I believe he's going to play so well, he's going to outplay the market. Like, we're not going to be able to pay bro at the end of the season because, again, we're going to have to play Cooper DeJean. Hopefully we have this Jalen Carter deal under wraps by then. But if not, we're going to definitely have to play Jalen Carter. We're going to have to extend Jalen Hurts this offseason as well because he's going to have a great year, or next offseason. So he's going to have a great year. At some point, you got to pay Devontae Smith as well, right? That I mentioned Quinyon and Coop. There's a lot of guys you gotta bring in. So you might not be able to re-sign Woolen unless he's willing to take a discount, which at this point, if he plays extremely well, I doubt he's going to be willing to do it. He's not from Philly, from my understanding. He's not a guy that we drafted. He's a guy that's looking to come in, make impact, get paid, and go. It's just my thoughts. I could be wrong, but that's just what I believe. And so, without further ado, maybe you get ahead of the market at that position and you draft a guy to come in just in case you lose Quinyon for a couple games, or just in case you lose Rick Willen for a couple games, just in case you lose Cooper DeJean for a couple games, right? We do have 2 picks in the 3rd round within the top 100. So without further ado, 3rd round pick 98. Some may think I reached, but I like this player. I'm going with Malik Muhammad out of Texas. I think bro can play. Right? And like I said, some may think, oh, yeah, you reached with this one. But I like what I see on tape. I like the coverage skills. I like the football IQ. I like the athleticism. He's played in a number of big games. He's playing for a big-time school. He's very physical. He's got high-level speed, runs a 4.4 40-yard dash. And he's a guy, again, he doesn't have to be an immediate starter, right? He won't be an immediate starter. We see he's a really good tackler as well right there in the open field. He doesn't have to come in and make immediate impact. Look at him coming up blitzing off the line of scrimmage. This is a guy that can play multiple different positions. You could throw him in a slot here and there, more of an outside corner, but you could throw him in a slot. He could play on the outside. He could come in case somebody need a breather, in case somebody has an injury, anything of that nature. He can be that guy for you. He's also a playmaker, has a few interceptions and PBUs in his career, as we can see right here on the tape. He's a guy that can come in and learn behind a guy like Quinyon Mitchell, behind a guy like Cooper DeJean, right? Behind a guy like Rick Willen, right? I wish we still had our DB coach. I'm mad that Christian Parker is not in the building anymore and he's with Dallas. And I do think he's going to be solid with Dallas. I think he learning under Fangio the way he learned under Fangio, I think he's going to be pretty nice. I'm not going to lie. So shout out to Dallas for making that addition. But at the end of the day, I think we have enough in the building, enough veterans in the building, enough people that have been there, done that now in the league. It's crazy to say now Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell have been there, done that now because they've guarded the best of the best. They've played high-level playoff games. They've been to the Super Bowl. So these guys are like vets now. Crazy to say. We just drafted them, and they're already vets. They have a ton of experience. They've seen it all, right? But, again, you have an opportunity to come in and learn under these vets and make immediate impact when your number is called, if your number is called. And maybe it's not called this season because, God willing, everyone stays perfectly healthy and we have no issues. God willing, right? But if it is called, he's available. And if it's not, he's available for us next season. So I think this is the pick that you make at 98 if it's available. If he's there, I'm pretty confident he will be there because when I went through the mock draft, I reached a little bit, did some research on him and was like, it would be nice to get a corner, especially a versatile corner. And this brings me to something else I wanted to address. As I near the end of what I'm talking about here, because we got the 2 4th-round picks and we got our 1 5th-round pick. I want to say something. I'm going through this mock draft, Eagles fans. I'm looking. And boy, besides like the top 2 safeties, I don't believe in none of these safeties, yo. I don't. I think Howie Roseman is going to have to either make a move for another veteran safety, right, to fill that void and place a Reed Blankenship, or you just got to rock out with what you got. Now, in my opinion, the corners that you have, another reason why you went and go and get Malik is because the corners that you have are so talented. I don't believe you need a high-level safety. If we go into the season and say, okay, our defensive line is intact, right? We got, Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and, we got Cassius Howell and all of these guys on our defensive front playing at a high level. You got your linebacker core in line, and they're playing at a high level. And you still got Quinyon, and you still got Coop, and you still got all these guys, and you got Rick Willen. If we go into the season and you tell me everybody's playing at their level they're supposed to play at, but the one hole we have is at safety, I can live with that. Because at the end of the day, that defensive line getting home, speeding that clock up, and I believe those corners can cover anyway. Those linebackers can also do a really good job of covering as well, right? And so we could deal with somebody. Epps is a good enough safety to come in there and just be decent. Hit in the open field, make a couple plays here and there, and just be decent. You know what I mean? And so I think we'll be ultimately okay at the position. I do think you have to make another move for somebody. It would have been nice to bring back CJ GJ. We just drafted Carl, if you're here, because if anybody knows, you would know, right? My boy Kev just put some in the comments I'm gonna get to in a little bit here. We're gonna get to that in a little bit here. Carl, there you go. There, and just what I was gonna ask. We also have Mukuba. We also have Mukuba. We need him to come back healthy. We need him to come back right. We need him to come back playing high-level football, right? But he's another option at the safety position. So you might not have to have an elite safety back there. You might not have to necessarily draft a safety in this draft. You might just have to go get someone. That's my overall take with this, right? That might have to be the move that you make. Now, full disclosure, I did go grab one. I did go get one at the end, towards the end. We're gonna get to it in a little bit. I did go try to get one in the end, watch a little bit of film, watch a little bit of tape, said this might just have to be a guy for depth. But again, you're not gonna be able to go and get, though, unless you trade up for him, it's gonna be hard to go up and get those high-level safeties that's gonna come in and that's gonna start for you right away. And so you address corner, in a way, because you don't really have to address corner. You address edge, in my opinion. You address offensive line, right? You address receiver. That safety position is one you're going to have to either go get a vet or you're going to have to just kind of reach, kind of like how I did in this draft towards the end, and just see if you could make magic. Just see if you can make magic with a vet or, with a young guy. So, but with the next pick, and it's crazy. A name was put in the draft. A name was put in here, and I'm going on and on about the picks that we should make. A name was put in here, and I go back through my mock and see I actually grabbed one of the names that was put in here. This is how you know we're here, and I've been on my game when it comes to this research. Because when guys like Carl talking college mention the same player I mentioned, I know I'm in the right place. I know I'm talking that good stuff when it comes to college football, right? But that's where I see us going right there with that last pick in the third round. Now, fourth round, and we got 3 picks left. Like I said, I'm not going to go all the way through round 7. I'm only going to get all the way down to pick 178. And then whatever how we do after that, that's what you do, bro. That's just what you do. We're going to have to just rock out with you after that. It is what it is. 9 times out of 10, those guys don't end up making the roster, things of that nature. So you're just going to have to you got to rock out. Pick number 4. Or round 4, pick number 114. I got the Eagles addressing offensive line again. I got us getting Cage Casey, guard, Boise State. Again, I think you need offensive line help. I think you need offensive line assistance, given the situation with Lane Johnson, given the situation with Landon Dickerson, 2 guys that have shown to, as of late, be injury prone, right? 2 guys that was just contemplating retirement due to being a little injury. Lane Johnson, I don't think it has much to do with him being injury prone. I just think he's getting up there in age, and it's just becoming time for him to walk away. And then Landon just mainly because this man can't stay on the field. Like, it's just every time you look up, he's limping off the football field. It's not a good look. But I think this is a solid pick for you, 4th round, 114. He's very technical, another technical guy, like I brought up with Kev earlier in the show. You might want to go with guys that's a little bit more technically sound on their offensive line, because you don't have the guru back there teaching the offensive lineman. I think the days of going to getting raw talent at the offensive line position and tooling them a certain way to get them to play the position a certain way, that may be out the door. So you might want to go with the technically sound guys, right? Great in pass protection, powerful when it comes to run blocking. Again, that's what we need. We got to reopen these holes for Saquon Barkley. He don't need a lot. He don't need a lot of space to make plays, We seen Saquon Barkley slip through the smallest of run gaps, get to the second level, make a linebacker miss, and he's out. He's gone. It's over with. You're not the DBs and safeties. You ain't tackling them. You ain't making that play. It's a house call. We got to get Saquon Barkley back playing to that level. And again, durable, which is also key right now when it comes to our draft. We don't need to be picking up a bunch of guys that are injury prone. I don't like it. We don't want to have it, especially when it comes to the offensive line. We need our offensive line to be healthy. We need our offensive line to be available. That's what we need. We don't need no issues out of the offensive line, not this year. Not with the way the NFC is looking, not with the moves we're trying to make, not with the offense that we want to run. So I think you go with Gage Casey right there, round 4, pick number 114. Jack, that's another position that we could address. Tight end. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I think at this point, you re-signed Dallas Goedert. You gave him another 1-year deal. And the way I'm looking at it is I'm not pressing that button this offseason. I'm pressing that button this season. We let Dallas Goedert go. That's just me. Like I said, I don't think it's a position that we necessarily, even though it's late in the draft, don't get me wrong. If you can't get a high-level guy, I don't know about getting him at this point in the draft. I just don't, not to replace Dallas Goedert. And we know Dallas Goedert had a career year in touchdowns just this past season. So it's going to be hard to replace that anyway. It's going to be tough replacing that anyway, right? But at the end of the day, if you're going to get someone, I want to get a guy. I don't want to get a guy 5th round pick. He might end up being a guy. He might not. I'd rather get somebody in a position, in a premier position for this team that we truly may need this year. Dallas Goedert also can be a little injury prone, but we've won games without Dallas Goedert. We've gone on runs at times without Dallas Goedert as well. I think we have enough at the position to get us through this season. Now, next season, if Dallas Goedert doesn't re-sign, then we have an issue. Then we need to address it, make a trade, draft, or whatever case may be. But I left tight end off of my draft board just off the strength of like, why address it right now? For what? When you got to get an edge. Like I said, you got to get offensive lineman. You got to get receivers. There's so many other positions that you got to get. You just signed Dallas. Why? And getting a tight end, getting a tight end high in this draft too, right? It's just writing on the wall that, yeah, Goedert, you up out of here. Now, maybe they have that agreement. Like, Goedert, this your last year here. We got to let you go after this year. But I get the feeling that Goedert, if he was going to leave, he was going to leave this offseason. After having a career year with us, after having, I think he had 10-plus touchdowns with us this past year. If he was going to leave, this was the offseason to leave and go get paid. He decided not to. He decided to wait it out, basically mess up his stock in the market just to stay in Philadelphia. That brings me to another point I'm going to quickly make. I said this a couple episodes ago, and I'll say it again. As much as we talk about my dog, Jay Hurts, right, and people that want to play for him and don't, Devontae Smith took a pay cut to stay in Philly. Just want to say that. Dallas Goedert taking pay cuts to stay in Philly. Some guys that catch the football from QB1 actually like playing with QB1, and I guess some don't. That's all I'm going to say about that. But that's how I feel about the tight end position. That's kind of, you know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about it. And yeah, you wait till next year and get Terrence Carter. A better player for a premier position for us later down the line, since you already have Dallas Goedert on the roster. That's how I see it. I think that's how you got to play this. I think that's how you got to address this. Now, the second pick in round 4 is where I felt as though I mentioned this position before. I know it's a position of need, but I feel as though our secondary is good enough to where this is not a priority, which is why I didn't trade up or I didn't reach for one early. But you probably should still get one just for depth. And if he becomes a guy, he becomes a guy. That's just what it is. But if you notice, I got him very well, in my opinion, very late in the draft, round 4, pick 137. Michael Taffy. Michael Taffy. And if y'all notice, CTC, Carl Talking College, brought this guy up in the comment section before I was even able to get to the pick. Before I was even able to get to it. Like I said, if y'all are not in tune with CTC, Carl Talking College, y'all need to get in tune. My boy Kev also mentioned him as well. I don't know if he is a guy again. I don't know if he is a guy. For me, I make the pick like, you got to do it. You may have to do it, right? But I'm still maybe going to get another vet to help when it comes to that position. At the end of the day, I'm still going and getting another guy when it comes to that position as safety when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. But again, you're not going to spend a lot at that position because you got to spend a lot on a few other positions. And as long as your defensive line, your linebackers, and your cornerbacks are covering, that safety don't have to be elite. So I think we good right here, F5, with Taffy. But he got good football IQ as well. He got coverage versatility. He's got great leadership. He could tackle. He's great in run support. And on top of that, he got some special team snaps as well. Special teams ace, they called him. He had 850 special team snaps in his college career. And so even if he's not able to play that position at a high level, you get a special teams player that can play potentially at a high level. So that kind of raises his ceiling as far as what he could do. Maybe he can't do this, but he can do this, right? So I think this is why you go and get a Michael Taffy right here in the 4th round. Like I said, I think you kind of have to. Now, CTC, Carl Talking College, is saying, I think Michael Taffy can be a guy. I don't know. I am not convinced. I am not sold. But I think that you take that chance for sure. You know what I'm saying? Low risk, high reward potentially with that pick. It's not like you picking him in the 2nd round, right? So I think it's a move that you make. And if he's as good as Reed Blankenship, right? Because he said he kind of reminds me of Reed Blankenship. If he's as good as Reed Blankenship, that's all we need. We won the Super Bowl with Reed Blankenship. Now, we also had CJ GJ, who is a dog. Even though CJ GJ that last year didn't have the greatest year as far as coverage is concerned, he still was hitting well, and he still was a leader out there. He still made plays when we need to make plays, and I think he still has 6 books by the end of the year. I think he still has 6 picks by the end of the season. But at the end of the day, we've already shown we can win with a guy like Reed back there. And so if he can be that, because Reed is not, in my opinion, a high-level safety. I don't think he's an elite safety. I think he's an okay, he's a okay to good say. Like his ceiling is good. Because I ain't gonna act like Reed ain't make plays for us. Reed made some plays for us. Reed got some big time interceptions, made some big time plays for us. So I ain't gonna act like Reed was some slouch for us. Reed could play, right? But it's not like he was the second coming to Ed Reed. It's not like he was Kyle Hamilton. It's not like he was one of those guys at the position. He was just good, right? He was a good leader, all of those things, but he was just good. If you could just be good, and at the very least, fill in and be a depth piece when needed, I think that you're in a great position if you're the Philadelphia Eagles to have the best secondary in football. I believe even without this pick, as long as you got Makuba playing at a decent level and you got Epps playing well, I think this has potential already to be the best secondary in football. That's just me. I think it's already right there. So adding depth can do nothing but help your case if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. And with the last pick that we discussed in today, 5th round, pick 178. Now, again, like I said before, we did just lose Nakobe Dean, right? You do have some other young guys that you hope that can step up and fill that void and play well. But you may still need a little bit more depth at the position potentially because, again, Nakobe Dean was like that. Even if you add in a little competition, right, to the roster to make those guys remember, hey, nothing is given to us. everything is earned. You got to go earn that spot out there on the field, right? Even if that is the case, you can go and add this guy right here. I like Kendall Daniels out of Oklahoma in the 5th round with pick 178. I like that. He's a run disruptor, 31.5 career tackles for losses, covering as a big nickel or linebacker. So of course, as we see there, he has some versatility, right? He can get in the backfield, right? He's physical. He has length. He could do some everything on the football field. Now, again, not a guy that you go get in the 1st round, 2nd, 3rd round. Not a guy that you're going to reach on super early, obviously, right? But a guy that could potentially add depth to a position that you lost this offseason. A guy that can come in, make plays in the backfield, get to the passer, occasionally cover a tight end. At the very least, even if he can't do none of that stuff at this level, he can add competition to that linebacker room. And that's all you need at this point. That's all you need at this point is competition at that position. Because I do believe in Campbell. I believe, in Trotter Jr. I think Trotter Jr. is going to be solid. I really do. And we already know how we feel about Bond. We already know how we feel about Zach Bond. We know Zach Bond is like that. So I already believe in our linebacker core. We don't have to reach high for a linebacker. We don't, right? But it will be nice to get one, even if it's a little late in this draft, just to make sure we have enough at the position. Because like I always say, injuries happen. And the draft is not only where you get that high-level talent, it's where you get that depth to fill out your roster. So that's why I got the Philadelphia Eagles going. That's why I had the Philadelphia Eagles going with that in the 5th round. We'll pick 178. And I want to put this up on the screen too, because I did it online here. And I want to show y'all the grade I got for this draft. So I got an overall grade of a B for this draft. Let me take this banner down, right? They gave me a B for the Blake Miller pick at 23. I don't know how in this world I got a C for Jacoby Lane. They tripping. That's all I can say. They tripping. All right. Clearly, how, and I said this as well, maybe my favorite pick in the entire draft if you're able to get him, right? In that, I believe it was 3rd round. Let me just double check here. Yes, in that 3rd round at pick 68. They gave me an A+ for that pick. I don't think he's going to be there that late, but if he's there, like the mock projected he'd be there, that's elite right there in round 3. They gave me an A for Malik at corner. Again, I think he can come in. He could be a nice depth piece for us in case someone goes down, and maybe come in and start for us next season in the case of us losing Reek Woolen, because we can't sign him because he outplays our pockets essentially. They gave me a C+ for Cage Casey. They gave me a C- for Michael Taffy. Again, I'm not expecting him to come in and do a ton. It was my last pick. They gave me an A- for Daniels. And so overall, man, they gave me a B. I think it should be higher. I think I deserve a B+ to an A. You know what I mean? I'll settle for an A-. I think what's bringing it down is the Jacoby Lane pick. And again, I think it's insane. I think it's absolutely insane for that to be a C. But I guess time will tell. I asked Carl Talking College CTC why, he's even being projected. When you look at the tape, why is he even being projected that low? Why is he a 2nd round receiver? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm looking at the tape and feeling the same way. I have no idea why they're projecting him to go where he goes. But if he falls into the Eagles' lap at, pick 54, that will be perfect. All in all, I'm excited to see how we do tomorrow, man. I'm excited to see what he does. I'm interested in seeing if my boy Kev is right and he trades up out of that pick, or he trades down, or whatever the case may be. I can see it going either way. If they really love a guy, we all know Howie is not afraid to move up in the draft. We saw him move up for Jalen Carter. We saw him move up for Devontae Smith. There's a few positions of need. So I don't know if there is a player out there that they're like, we have to get him to the point where we'll trade up to get him. I think Kev may be right. They may feel inclined to trade back because there are other positions, and this is a deeper draft, in my opinion, at the positions at a few of the positions that we need. So I'm interested in seeing how he plays this. I'm really interested in seeing what receiver he gets, because he has to get one of these high-level receivers. Don't go into this draft thinking that Smitty is going to be spectacular. Don't get me wrong. But don't go into this draft thinking that either Hollywood Brown or bro from the Packers or whoever else is going to come be a receiver too. No, you need another guy to come in and make that offense go. So make sure you get one of those high-level receivers, right, in the first or the second round, right? But as long as you listen, in my opinion, if how we come out here and put this draft together, you know what I'm saying, I'm straight. I think we back in the bowl. That's just me, though. That's just me. You know what I mean? If you go out there and you get Blake Miller, Jacoby Lane, Howell, you just get those three. I think we right back. I think we back. You know what I'm saying? I think we are back where we need to be. And Howie Roseman, don't forget, we still have top seven. It's at least top 10 cap space in the National Football League. So even after the draft, how we not done, and it has been rumored by multiple different sources that Howie Roseman is probably going to make some other moves, right, to improve this football team, whether it be via trade, because there's not much out there in free agency. But they're saying he might be out here making some phone calls to get some other players in the building, right? So we shall see how this goes, man. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow to see what we do. I'm looking forward to round 2, round 3. I'm looking forward to come back and giving y'all a recap of this draft. Just know, AJ's Birds Pod will be back after the draft to give y'all a recap of what went down, who we grabbed, to break down the tape. Do I like the pick? Do I not like the pick? Should Howie have stayed here? Should he have traded up? Might even talk a little bit about, some of the ops picks and things of that nature, because, again, there's a lot of talent out there. We can't get everybody. And I expect Washington to improve in the draft. I expect New York, who now has, I think, 2 top 10 picks, if I'm not mistaken, because I know they traded and got pick number 10, I believe now, right after trading Dexter Lawrence. So I think they got like 2 top 10 picks now. So that's a little dangerous. And we already know how I feel about Dart. So that's a situation to keep your eye on. And Dallas got 2 first-round picks as well. So I expect our division to improve this draft unless they completely whiff, which is, I think, going to be hard to do at the spots that they're picking. But the division is going to improve. So you might have to have a conversation, right, about some of the picks that they make as well. But like I said, that's all I have for y'all on this episode of AJ's Birds. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share. Thank you for all the comments on the channel, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Twitter, wherever you're watching from. I appreciate you. And I'll catch y'all next time. Also, shout out to my boy Kev, who was able to come on and pop on for a moment. I know we had plans for him to be on for the whole show, but something came up, so he could only pop in for a minute, for a quick moment. So he popped in while he was outside and gave his quick analysis on some of the picks in the AJ Brown situation. So shout out to him. And of course, like I said, shout out to my boy CTC for popping on and giving his insight. Appreciate you. Like I said, man, go Birds. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Get down.
Looking, firing, intercepted, picked up by Cooper DeJean.